Okay, so here's the tea. I just woke up, it's Easter Sunday. I was going to do a fun little video where I'm in the Canary Islands, so I was gonna go have a wonderful Easter day, gonna go buy some chocolate, gonna go eat some rabbit at a restaurant because rabbit's apparently a big thing here. But instead, I wake up to some shitty news from my dad, and he said, oh, looks like some terrible news out of Sri Lanka. So I go to my phone, check my Google News app, and I'll read you what I read. Explosions kill at least 138 in Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday. So this kind of stuff happens all the time, right? There's terrorist attacks, there's politically motivated attacks, there's murders, there's shootings, there's all sorts of things that happen all of the time. I remember back in the day that stuff used to just kind of go in one ear, out the other. It was awful to hear. You'd think about it for a few moments, and then you'd move on with your day. Here's the thing about traveling around the world though, is that you get to see so many different places, you get to meet so many different people, and these areas in the world actually become experiences. So I've been to Sri Lanka just a couple weeks ago. I was literally walking past these churches. I was staying a couple blocks away from these bomb sites. I have pictures of these 5-star hotels along the water there in Colombo. I was in Negombo. These places are real places that I met locals, that I experienced the food, the culture. I went to markets, I went to restaurants. I took taxi rides. When you become ingrained into a certain area, it becomes very real. It's part of my experience now. So when something like this happens, yes, it's sad, but it makes me fucking mad. I get so mad that there's people around the world that want to destroy what is good in the world. It's one thing when there's a natural disaster, you know, that's the earth doing its thing. Those can be sad, but I don't get mad because there's nothing that you can really do to stop it apart from, you know, the whole climate change thing. But when it comes to earthquakes and tsunamis and that sort of thing, that's just the earth kind of being the earth, and it's awful when those things happen, but there's not a lot we can do about it. Terrorist attacks? There's a lot that we can do about it, okay? First of all, what you believe, it doesn't matter, okay? What you believe is no more important than what anybody else believes. For me, as someone who is very much an atheist, I truthfully think all religions are kind of ridiculous. It doesn't mean that when I go travel somewhere, I don't still find a lot of beauty in these different religions. I like going to temples, I like going to religious sites, I like talking to people who believe certain religions. I don't believe any of it, but I like getting their perspective on things. Even if I don't agree with it, and a lot of the times I do not agree with it at all, it's interesting getting their perspective because it makes them human, right? It makes them a real person. Just a quick dialogue of a few minutes can make another person who has very different views from you a real person to you. And it's a lot harder to fucking ruin somebody's life when they're real to you, if that makes sense. What I don't understand is how there's people out there in the world, all across the world, that are so intent on destroying the lives of other people. And I will say, no one has come forward as far as these attacks. It could be anything. That being said, the people that carry these out are monsters. The people who refuse to give trans kids rights in the US, monsters. The people who refuse to accept LGBT people and don't want them to have equal rights, to have access to families, to marriage, those people are monsters. Anyone who isn't willing to see someone else as another human, to me, is a monster. And all it takes is for you to have a fucking conversation with that person, to have conversations with people who are different than you, to realize that we're all the exact same. The exact same. It doesn't matter if you're growing up in rural Saskatchewan, if you're growing up in rural Sri Lanka, or you're growing up in Tokyo. We're all the exact same. We have different life experiences, but we're all just humans that eat, shit, and sleep. Right? There's not much more to it than that. It's really simple, it's really basic, and it's not that hard to be kind, to be good to each other, to support each other. You don't have to agree with one another. I certainly don't agree with a lot of people that I have met. Not everyone is nice that I meet, like traveling the world. Not everyone is a good person, but that doesn't mean that just because I don't agree with somebody, just because I don't like somebody, it means I'm gonna go out of my way to be a horrific villain to that person. You can impart your own beliefs onto them if you so desire, share kind of your thoughts and feelings, and if that two-way street's really not gonna connect and you're not gonna go kind of in a same route, then you know what? You did your job. Forget about it. Move on. People who force their own beliefs on other people are just insufferable. Can you not? That would be great. This is all just very much a rant. And truthfully, the most important thing is that, you know, my heart goes out to everyone who is impacted by this disaster, everyone who's lost their lives, all of the families. You go to these places, you meet so many people, and I never get to see them again. I don't have contact information. I don't have any sort of ongoing relationship after those instances. And so you never know if somebody's impacted by something, which is a hard part of traveling, I think, is that you make so many micro relationships that are very strong for a very short amount of time, and then you never see or hear from them again, because that's just part of life, right? And even in such a connected digital age, that still exists. And this stuff continues to happen. You think about the horrors that Syria has faced over the past however many years. I was in Jordan talking to a Syrian guy, and he had been living in Jordan now for, I forget what it was, 4 years or 5 years, something like that. But hearing his story about, you know, how he came to Jordan from Syria and how he spoke so highly of his home country and how beautiful it was, and, you know, that I really should try to go to Damascus one day, and that there's certain barriers now that still exist because of the horrors that have happened there, because of a group of people who thought one way versus another group of people who thought a different way, and the resulting terror that ensues. It's just awful. It's sad. Fucking people love ruining great things in the world. That's what we do best, is we destroy, we kill. We're also really good at loving and being kind, and it makes me mad in these moments when that negative outshines the positive of what we are really able to do as humans, as humanity. We have so much opportunity. Why do we keep fucking it up? Let's be better. It's not that fucking hard to listen to somebody, to care about them, to say I appreciate you or I understand you. And if you don't agree with somebody, cool, move on. Okay? Religion's not worth it. Nothing is worth it. So that's all. Just thought I'd have a little rant. Be good to each other, be kind, appreciate one another, appreciate our differences, because that's the only thing that matters. Okay? And fuck all these shitty people. That's it. Okay. Bye.